Hi everybody and welcome to another Rams of the South Stand video on Leeds TV, and today we're going to talk everything transfers. So Leeds are in the market for a loan signing. According to Phil Hay, it is a Premier League signing, which I am very excited about. Interestingly enough, we're not looking for a centre-half anymore. I think the reasoning behind that is because we now have a fully fledged squad that Bielsa is thoroughly confident in. And by that, I mean we have Berardi, who has excelled in that position. We have Calvin Phillips, who can drop back into a centre-half role, like we saw against Las Palmas in pre-season. And we have Cooper and Jansen, who so far this season have performed way above what we are normally used to seeing from those two. Especially Jansen at the weekend, who I want to give a special mention to for putting such a superb performance in on his first full match back. So, what are we looking into and why are we not looking into anything else? I've seen a lot of Leeds fans who have also advocated the centre midfield look-alike and what we sort of are looking for, and I don't think anymore that is a worry because we have Adam Forshaw coming back from injury. It looks like he's progressing really well. I don't know if you guys are following that on leedsunited.com, but if you're not, check that out because it's kind of like a day-to-day Adam Forshaw coming back. It's really interesting, but he's going to be back really soon. They're looking at maybe 3 weeks, which is very, very positive, back to full fitness. He's a really serious player that we could get back in this squad and could really, he's a top player in this league. We've obviously got Click, we've got Phillips, who's been immense so far, and then we look at more the attacking roles, and I think this is where Bielsa's looking at. Now we have in the attacking roles really Alioski, Click, Saiz, and Hernandez, obviously. And the reasoning behind him wanting to bring someone else in, I've heard, is because if anything happens to Saiz, we really lose that sort of impetus to get up the field quickly, to create chances, and we can't just rely on two men then being Click and Hernandez. We need another outlet, because if you were to just leave it in those two outlets, Click and Hernandez, they could easily be marked out of the game. But with three, I feel that it causes a lot of teams' problem with those three, that we have those outlets in Click, Hernandez and Saiz. So who would we look at then? Well, I've heard a lot of people talk about Powell at Wigan. Now, he's had interest from Burnley, and Burnley have actually had apparently a £7 million bid rejected this summer. And apparently that was because Powell actually favoured staying at Wigan. Maybe it was a promotion momentum sort of thing. He's been there for quite a while now, was on loan from Man United for quite a while. But yeah, it's very, very interesting because he would be a perfect signing for Leeds. I feel he's very good on the ball. He works hard, which is the two sort of attributes that Bielsa looks for in a player. So I feel he would fit the mould quite well. I mean, would Wigan let him go out to be sort of like we'd learn until January, then sign him for maybe 6 or 7 million? I'm not 100% sure. It could happen, but I think it's quite unrealistic. Now, who else have we looked at? I've heard Fernando Forestieri. Now, I've heard a lot of Leeds fans mention him, and owlstalk.co.uk, which is a Sheffield Wednesday forum, have been speaking up Fernando Forestieri making a move to Leeds United. Now, if this was to happen, I've seen a lot of Leeds fans say, well, we wouldn't want him sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. But we don't really know how that turned out with Chilena. Apparently, there's a lot of unrest reported between those two. So a lot of Leeds fans are judging him on that, but would you accept him as a football player? 100%. He's Argentinian as well, so the link is there. So it's very interesting, that one. Apparently Leeds have been quite interested in Fernando Forestieri for a couple of years now. Don't know if that interest is still there, but that would be, I think that would be a quality signing. He's Wednesday's best player. On his day, he's unplayable. A lot like Saiz, very much like Saiz. He's got the same sort of attitude. Very fiery, but he can change a game on its head. But would he come to Leeds to be an understudy to Samu Saiz? I'm not 100% sure. And would Sheffield Wednesday let him go to Leeds? Sorry, even on the transfer embargo, the supposed transfer embargo, I'm not 100% sure. They'd probably hold out for a summer move. Apparently, Real Valladolid are in for him as well. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure if he'd come to Leeds. And the final one who I am very excited about, and the one which I've been hearing a lot about, is Izzy Brown, formerly of Huddersfield, on loan, but still a Chelsea player. I'm not 100% sure how that would work with the players in the squad. I'm not sure if there is 3 Chelsea players that would be allowed in the Leeds United full squad. I'm pretty sure it's 4 that is the limit. If that was so, we would have Blackman, Baker and Izzy Brown, which would be okay and acceptable. Izzy Brown would be a fantastic signing. He was an understudy to the likes of Aaron Moy, who pushed quite far up in that Huddersfield season. He pushed quite far up into that CAM role quite a few times and let Hogg and Billing just have that defensive midfield role. So he had to play an understudy to Aaron Moy that season. So he's used to doing that. He's only a young kid. He could learn a lot from Bielsa. And if I was to have a guess, there's been a lot of rumours, but that one makes a lot more sense. The Chelsea link there again. He's a very, very good player. We saw that in the season with Huddersfield. He'd come on and make a serious difference. He's a big presence and he can play out wide. He can play in the middle. And he had a stint with them up front as well. I remember one game against Newcastle. It was the first game they played against Newcastle. He did have a stint up front, so that's very exciting. I think he's versatile as well. And I think that's what Bielsa likes in a player. So if we could get maybe an Izzy Brown on loan, I think. And if you remember as well, with the Huddersfield season, they actually brought Izzy Brown in January, and then he just took them to that next level. He gave them the legs, the power, the speed, and the finishing as well. And I think that's exactly what we need. And if we can get a Premier League player like that, then I would be overjoyed. But those 3 are the names that have been bandied round, guys. It's very interesting. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to go for because Phil